You know that feeling. You said something terrible at dinner to someone you love, and the second the words left your mouth, you wanted to grab them out of the air and stuff them back in. The room went quiet. You saw the expression change on their face, and your brain screamed for a rewind button. If I could just go back 5 minutes, just 5 little minutes, I would sit there and smile and eat my potatoes. That is all. Not kill Hitler. Not save the world. Just undo one stupid moment. So let us do a thought experiment. Let us say you are not just a person with a big mouth. You are also a brilliant engineer, a garage genius. You go home, ignore your crying fiancé, and lock yourself in your workshop, welding, soldering. It does not look like much. Maybe a refrigerator with a lot of copper wire, but it works. You set the dial to -10 minutes. You press the big red button. The machine hums. The universe shudders. And then silence. You reach for the door handle, expecting to step into your kitchen 10 minutes ago, ready to apologize before the fight even starts. But you do not step into your kitchen. You step into the vacuum of space, and it is the last mistake you ever make. Why does this matter? Because every single person watching this has wanted a rewind button. And the physics of why you cannot have one is the most beautiful and most terrifying thing about the universe. So let us go back to your garage. Let us really build this thing. You have been in here for 3 months. Your fiancé thinks you have lost your mind. Your neighbors think you are building a meth lab. But you are not. You are building a time machine. And it does not look like a DeLorean. It does not look like a phone booth. It looks like a refrigerator that lost a fight with a hardware store. Copper wire everywhere, circuit boards ripped out of old microwaves, a car battery, some duct tape, a lot of duct tape. But here is the thing. The engineering does not matter. Not for this thought experiment. What matters is what happens when you turn it on. You set the dial, -10 minutes. That is all. You do not want to kill Hitler. You do not want to see the dinosaurs. You just want to go back to dinner and keep your mouth shut. You press the big red button. The machine hums. Low at first, like a transformer on a wet day. Then deeper. The kind of hum you feel in your chest. The lights in your garage flicker. The air smells like ozone and burnt toast. And then, silence. Complete silence. Like the universe held its breath. You reach for the door handle. And this is where every science fiction movie you have ever seen lied to you. You twist the handle. You pull the door open. And you do not step into your kitchen. The air is ripped from your lungs with a violence your brain cannot even process. There is no sound, because there is no air to carry sound. The moisture on your tongue boils, not because it is hot, because the pressure just dropped to 0. Your eyes feel like they are being pushed out of your skull from the inside. Your skin burns and freezes at the same time. You are not in your house. You are not in your neighborhood. You are not even on Earth. You are floating in absolute darkness, the kind of dark that has no walls, no floor, no ceiling, just nothing, in every direction. And then you see it, far away. A tiny blue dot, glowing, beautiful. It is the Earth. And it is 80,000 miles away, 130,000 kilometers, moving away from you at a speed your brain cannot comprehend. Because here is what nobody tells you about time travel. Here is the thing that every movie, every TV show, every book gets catastrophically wrong. Earth is not a stage. It is not a fixed platform sitting still in space, waiting for you to rewind and replay your life. Earth is a projectile. It is screaming through space at 67,000 miles per hour, 107,000 kilometers per hour, around the sun. The sun is dragging the entire solar system at 514,000 miles per hour through the Milky Way. And the Milky Way itself is hurtling at 1.3 million miles per hour towards something called the Great Attractor. Think about Back to the Future for a second. Marty McFly hits 88 miles per hour in a parking lot. The DeLorean disappears. Lightning flash. And then he is in the same parking lot. Same town, same spot, just 30 years earlier. But that is not how it works. Not even close. In those 30 years, Earth traveled 17.5 billion miles around the sun. The sun dragged everything 135 billion miles through the galaxy. If Marty actually traveled back in time, and only in time, he would not be in a parking lot. He would not be in Hill Valley. He would not even be on Earth. He would be floating in empty space, billions of miles from where Earth used to be, and dying in about 15 seconds. Same parking lot, same town. That is Hollywood magic, not physics. Now, Interstellar actually got something right, something important, and we will come back to that. But while you were sitting in your refrigerator box, the universe kept moving. Every second, Earth traveled another 18 miles. So let us look at the actual numbers. All right, let us do the math. And I want you to pay attention, because these numbers are going to make you uncomfortable. Start with the simplest one. Earth is spinning. Right now, as you sit in your chair watching this, you are rotating at about 1,000 miles per hour, 1,600 kilometers per hour. You do not feel it. You never feel it. But in 10 minutes, that spin alone has carried you 160 miles from where you were. But that is nothing. Because Earth is not just spinning, it is orbiting the sun, and it is not taking a leisurely stroll. And Earth is screaming around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, 108,000 kilometers per hour. In 10 minutes, that orbit has dragged you 11,000 miles. 11,000. That is almost halfway around the planet. But we are not done, because the sun is not sitting still either. The sun, and everything orbiting it, including you, is racing around the center of the Milky Way at roughly 500,000 miles per hour, 800,000 kilometers per hour. You did not know you were moving that fast, did you? Nobody told you. Nobody sent a notification. But every single second, you are hurtling through the galaxy at a speed that makes a bullet look like a sleeping turtle. So add it all up. In 10 minutes, the 10 minutes you wanted to rewind, you have traveled approximately 80,000 miles, 130,000 kilometers, in 10 minutes. Let that land for a second. Here is gone. Here is 80,000 miles away. The spot where you were sitting when you said that terrible thing at dinner. That spot is now a point in empty space, somewhere between Earth and the moon, with nothing in it. No air, no floor, no dinner table, just vacuum. And you, the brilliant garage engineer with your refrigerator time machine, you wanted to go back there. Now, you are smart. You are an engineer. So your brain is already doing what engineer brains do. It is looking for a solution. You are thinking, fine, the Earth moves, so I will just calculate where it was and aim for that spot. Sounds reasonable, sounds fixable. It is not. This is the objection every smart person raises. Okay, the Earth moves, so what? I am an engineer. I will calculate the trajectory. I will figure out exactly where Earth was 10 minutes ago, program those coordinates into my machine, and land right back in my kitchen. It sounds so reasonable. It sounds like a GPS problem. Plug in the coordinates, hit go, so arrive at destination. But here's the question that breaks everything. Coordinates relative to what? Think about it like this. You are in a boat, in the middle of the ocean, dense fog, you cannot see anything. No land, no stars, no GPS, nothing. Someone radios you and says, go to position 47 north, 122 west. Great. But 47 north of what? 122 west of what? Those numbers only mean something if you have agreed on a grid. A reference frame. It's in a fixed background against which everything is measured. On Earth, we have that. We invented it. We drew imaginary lines on the globe and called them latitude and longitude. We picked Greenwich, England, and said, this is 0. Arbitrary. But everyone agreed. And it works, because the grid is painted on the thing we are measuring. But now zoom out, way out, into space, into the universe. Where is the grid? Isaac Newton thought he had the answer. Then he believed in something called absolute space, a giant invisible grid stretched across the entire universe. Fixed, permanent, unmoving. Every object had a true position on this grid. Every movement could be measured against it. It was elegant. It was intuitive. And for 200 years, it was the foundation of all physics. And it was wrong. Not a little wrong. Fundamentally, beautifully, catastrophically wrong. There is no grid. There is no fixed background. There is no master coordinate system painted on the universe. Einstein showed us this. Feynman understood it in his bones. The universe does not have a stage. It does not have a floor. There is no absolute here. There is no absolute there. Let me show you what this means. Imagine you are on a train. A perfectly smooth train, no bumps, no vibrations. You are playing ping pong with your friend. The ball bounces back and forth across the table. Normal, predictable, fun. Now, to you, on the train, that ball is moving maybe 10 miles per hour across the table. But to someone standing outside watching the train pass, that ball is moving 10 miles per hour plus whatever speed the train is going. If the train is going 60 miles per hour, then that ball is screaming through space at 70 miles per hour. So which is it? Is the ball going 10 or 70? Both, and neither. It depends entirely on who is watching. There is no real speed of the ball. There is only speed relative to something else. Now apply this to your time machine. You want to calculate where Earth was 10 minutes ago. But where only means something relative to a reference point. Relative to the Sun, Earth was 11,000 miles away. Relative to the center of the galaxy, millions of miles away. Relative to the cosmic microwave background, a completely different number. It is like trying to find your seat on a merry-go-round, while the merry-go-round is on a truck, and the truck is on a ship, and the ship is on a planet that is spinning inside a galaxy that is falling through the universe. Which where do you pick? Which reference frame is the real one? None of them. That is the answer. None of them is more real than any other. There is no master grid. There is no God's eye view. There is no cosmic GPS that can tell you the true location of anything. The past does not have a single address. It does not have coordinates you can punch into a machine. The place you are trying to go back to, it is not a place. It never was. It was a relationship between objects, and those objects have moved. and there is no universal ruler to measure where they went. And if you are thinking, okay, fine, this is hard, but surely there is some way around it. There is another wall. And this one is not about where things are. It is about the fundamental structure of reality itself. So the spatial problem is a nightmare. It is a death trap. But let us say you are stubborn. You are human after all. We are a very stubborn species. You say, fine. I will build a computer the size of a planet to calculate every single relative motion. But there is another wall. And this one is not about where things are. It is about the fundamental structure of reality itself. You have heard of the speed of light? To 186,000 miles per second. 300,000 kilometers per second. It is fast. It is blindingly fast. A beam of light could circle the Earth 7.5 times in a single second. But why is it the limit? Why cannot we go faster? Is it like a law passed by the Congress of the universe? Is there a cosmic police officer who pulls you over if you go 1 mile per hour over the limit? No. It is much more profound than that. The speed of light is not really about light. Light just happens to travel that fast because it has no mass. It is really the speed of causality. It is the speed at which information, any information, can travel through the fabric of the universe. The speed at which cause becomes effect. The speed at which the universe updates itself. If you snap your fingers right now, the sound travels at about 770 miles per hour, 1,235 kilometers per hour. But the gravitational ripple of your fingers moving, that travels at the speed of light, and nothing, no signal, no force, no trick of engineering can outrun it. And here is where it ruins your time travel plans. To go backward in time, according to the equations of relativity, you would have to exceed this speed limit. You would have to go faster than the speed of causality. You would have to outrun the very mechanism by which the universe communicates with itself. So what? You say, I will build a bigger engine. I will put more fuel in. I will push harder. I am an engineer. This is what I do. But nature has a trick up her sleeve, a very clever, very frustrating trick. It turns out that energy and mass are interchangeable. You have seen the equation. E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. They are the same thing wearing different clothes. When you push an object, when you give it energy to make it go faster, you are also adding a tiny bit of mass to it. At low speeds, driving a car, flying a jet, this extra mass is so tiny you could never measure it. It is like adding a grain of sand to a mountain. But as you get closer to the speed of light, things go crazy. We see this in particle accelerators. Right now, at CERN in Switzerland, physicists take tiny particles, electrons, protons, and smash them with magnetic fields. They push them faster and faster. At 50% the speed of light, the particle is slightly heavier than at rest. At 90%, noticeably heavier. At 99%, much heavier. But then something bizarre happens. At 99.9%, they pump more energy in, and the particle barely speeds up at all. Instead, it gets heavier. The energy of motion is turning into the mass of the object. The particle is fighting back. It is resisting. If you tried to push that particle to 100% of the speed of light, the math tells us its mass would become infinite. Not just really heavy. Not as heavy as the Earth. Not as heavy as the Sun. Infinite. To push an object with infinite mass, you would need infinite energy. And there is not enough energy in the entire observable universe to do that. If you took every star, every black hole, every photon, every neutrino, and converted it all into pure propulsion fuel, it would not be enough to push a single atom to the speed of light. Let that sink in. The universe has a built-in defense mechanism against time travel. It is not a lock on the door. It is not a sign that says, "Keep out." It is a geometric impossibility. The faster you try to go to break the barrier of time, the heavier you become until you are too heavy to move. You are trapped in the now. Not because someone decided you should be, but because the fabric of reality itself will not allow anything else. And your engineer brain is quiet now. Because you cannot engineer your way around the geometry of the universe. But wait. We are not done yet. It gets weirder. It always gets weirder. Because even if you could survive the vacuum of space, and even if you could find infinite energy, there is another problem. A problem with the very nature of time itself. We tend to think of time as a river. It flows, it ticks, tick-tock, tick-tock. The past is behind us. The future is ahead. And we are all riding the same raft in the present. We think that now is the same for everyone. That if I clap my hands right now, it happens at the same moment for you, Chigi for a guy on Mars, for an alien in the Andromeda galaxy. But Einstein showed us that this is an illusion. Now is not a universal moment. It is a personal one. It depends on how fast you are moving and where you are in a gravitational field. I want you to imagine a sausage. Yes, a sausage. A giant four-dimensional sausage of spacetime. This sausage contains everything that ever happened and everything that ever will happen. The past, the present, the future. It is all there, frozen in the block, like a loaf of bread with every moment baked in. Your life is a long, wiggly worm inside this sausage, born at one end, dead at the other, and everything in between. Every birthday, every heartbreak, every stupid thing you said at dinner, it is all in there. Now. How do we define now? In classical physics, in Newton's world, we thought we could take a knife and slice the sausage straight down at a 90-degree angle. That slice is now. Everything on that slice happens simultaneously. Everyone agrees. But relativity tells us that the angle of the slice depends on your speed. If you are standing still, you slice straight. But if you start running or get in a rocket ship, your slice tilts. You are cutting the sausage at a different angle. This means that events that are in your past might be in my future, if we are moving at different speeds. Two people walking past each other on the street, shucked to moving in opposite directions, disagree about what is happening right now on a planet billions of light years away. Not by a little, by hundreds of years. There is no single now that we can all agree on. The universe is not a simultaneous event. It is a jumble of different perspectives, all slicing the sausage at different angles. So when you try to build a time machine, when you try to jump to a particular moment in the past, you are trying to jump to a slice of the sausage that might not even exist from your new perspective. You are trying to step into a past that is geometrically inaccessible. Not because the universe forbids it, not because there is a rule against it, but because the geometry of space-time itself has tilted the slice away from you. You cannot reach it. It is not there anymore from where you stand. You are chasing a ghost made of geometry, a ghost made of the very fabric that holds reality together. And the worst part? The ghost does not even know it is a ghost, because from its own perspective, it is perfectly real. It is just slicing the sausage at a different angle. So let us look at where we are. You built a machine. You had a simple goal: go back 10 minutes and undo one stupid moment at dinner. But to do that, you had to fight the rotation of the Earth. 1,000 miles per hour, 1,600 kilometers per hour, spinning you away from where you were. You had to chase a planet that orbits the Sun at 67,000 miles per hour, 108,000 kilometers per hour. You had to account for a sun that drags everything at 500,000 miles per hour, 800,000 kilometers per hour, through the Milky Way. In 10 minutes, you moved 80,000 miles, 130,000 kilometers, and the spot you were sitting in? Gone. Empty vacuum, no air, no floor, no dinner table, just nothing. Then you tried to calculate where you needed to go. But there is no map. There is no master grid. Newton thought there was. He was wrong. Einstein proved it. There is no fixed here in the universe. Every position is relative. Every measurement depends on who is watching. Then you tried to break through the speed limit. You said, "I will push harder." But the speed of light is not about light. It is the speed of causality, the speed at which the universe updates itself. And the faster you push, the heavier you become, until the math says infinite. And there is not enough energy in the entire universe to move you one more inch. And then, even if you somehow did all of that, even if you survived the vacuum, found the coordinates, and broke the speed limit, you discovered that time itself is personal. Now is not the same for everyone. The slice of the space-time sausage that you are trying to reach has tilted away from you. It is geometrically inaccessible. You are chasing a ghost made of geometry. It sounds bleak, does it not? It sounds like the universe is a prison. You are trapped in this forward motion, hurtling toward the future, unable to correct your mistakes, unable to rewind, unable to fix anything. But I want you to look at it differently. I do not see a prison. I see a protection. Think about what would happen if you could go back. If you could just pop back 10 minutes and change things. Cause and effect would dissolve. The chain that connects your actions to their consequences, it would shatter. The universe would not be a rational place where A leads to B. It would be a chaotic mess where every moment could be rewritten, overwritten, unwritten. It would be like trying to build a house where the bricks keep changing shape and vanishing. You lay a foundation, and someone erases it. You put up a wall, and it never existed. Nothing would mean anything. The fact that we cannot go back, that is what gives our actions weight. That is what gives them meaning. When you say something to your boss, or to your fiancé, or to your child, it matters. It is real. It is etched into the space-time sausage forever. You cannot erase it. You cannot undo it. You have to live with it. You have to apologize. You have to learn. You have to grow. You have to move forward. And there is something extraordinary about that. Because a universe where your choices are permanent is a universe where your choices actually count. But here is what I have not told you yet. Because everything I just said, all 5 barriers, all that impossibility, was about going backward. Everything I just said was about going backward in time. Every barrier, every impossibility, every wall. What about going forward? Forward time travel is not science fiction. It is science fact. It is happening to you right now. Every time you drive your car, you are traveling forward in time slightly faster than someone standing still. The effect is tiny, billionths of a second. But it is real, and it has been measured, not theorized, not calculated, measured. In 1971, two physicists named Hafele and Keating did something beautifully simple. They bought commercial airline tickets. They put atomic clocks, the most precise timekeeping devices on Earth, onto ordinary airplanes. They flew them around the world, east, then west. When the planes landed, they compared the airborne clocks to identical clocks that had stayed on the ground. The clocks disagreed, not because they were broken, not because of turbulence or altitude or temperature. They disagreed by exactly the amount that Einstein's equations predicted. The moving clocks had traveled into the future by a tiny amount. And then there is Sergei Krikalev, a Russian cosmonaut who spent 803 days orbiting Earth at 17,000 miles per hour, 27,000 kilometers per hour. When he came home, he was 0.02 seconds younger than everyone else on the planet. 0.02 seconds. That does not sound like much, but it is not zero. It is real. He had traveled 0.02 seconds into the future, the greatest time traveler in human history, and his time machine was a tin can falling around the Earth. But here is the one that should really get you. GPS. The satellites that tell your phone where you are. They orbit Earth at 8,700 miles per hour, 14,000 kilometers per hour. Their clocks run differently from clocks on the ground. 38 microseconds faster every single day because of gravitational time dilation and velocity effects. 38 microseconds. Sounds trivial. But if engineers ignored Einstein, if they pretended relativity was just a theory, your GPS would drift by 10 kilometers, 6 miles, every single day. Within a week, Google Maps would be useless. Every single time you use GPS to navigate, you are relying on time travel being real. Einstein's equations are not philosophy. They are engineering. Remember earlier when I said Interstellar got something right? This is it. Cooper falls into the gravitational grip of a black hole, a region where gravity is so extreme that space-time curves dramatically. Time slows to a crawl for him. When he finally escapes and returns to Earth, his daughter is an old woman. He missed her entire life. Decades passed on Earth, while hours passed for him. That is not Hollywood magic. That is Einstein's general relativity playing out on screen. The math is real. The time dilation is real. The only fiction is the spaceship. Hollywood got the ending right. They just got the beginning wrong. Backward time travel, the DeLorean, the phone booth, the spinning around the Earth, that is fiction. That is impossible. We just spent 26 minutes showing you why. But forward time travel? That is physics. That is proven. That is happening right now inside every GPS satellite above your head. But forward time travel comes with a cost. A cost that might make you grateful the universe keeps it slow. But forward time travel comes with a cost. If you got on a rocket ship right now, if you accelerated to 99.9% the speed of light and flew in a circle for what felt like a week, when you came back, everyone you know would be dead. Your family, your friends, your fiancé, everyone. Decades would have passed on Earth, maybe centuries. You would step off the ship into a world you do not recognize. No one would know your name. No one would remember you. You would be the loneliest person who ever lived. That is the cost of forward time travel. You can skip ahead, but you can never come back. And that brings us full circle. Remember where we started? You said something terrible at dinner to someone you love, and you wanted a rewind button. You cannot have one. The universe will not allow it. Not because it is cruel, but because it is protecting the very thing that makes your life meaningful. The fact that what you do matters, that your words have weight, that your choices are real. You cannot go back 10 minutes. You cannot undo what you said. The Earth has moved 80,000 miles since then. The space-time sausage has been sliced. The geometry is locked. But you can do something better. You can go forward. Right now. Into the kitchen. And say you are sorry. That is the only time travel that matters. If this changed how you think about time, even a little, tell me in the comments. What hit you hardest? The numbers? The sausage? The ghost made of geometry? Subscribe if you want more physics explained the way Feynman would have explained it. No formulas, just understanding. And I will see you in the next one.